Good evening everyone, or should I say guten Abend, as we are here today for the 11th round of GPVWC's 2025 Academy Series at the Hockenheim ring. I am Lorenzo Eterovic-Funcic, and alongside me today will be Kert Rohtjarv. Hello Kert.
Hello, and good evening everyone. It's a pleasure to be here again with you, Lorenzo, after we completed Valencia, which was a long time ago, but very hectic race. But yeah, great to see you again.
Thank you, and it's good to be back here. Initially was supposed to be driving today, but unfortunately the main commentator, Domenico Scarpelli, had to pull out last minute, so here I am today, and probably for the better, really. Haven't really put in too much practice for today, so safer I be in the booth.
I would prefer driving, but I have a contract in FS2, so I can't really.
You do your own thing there, and you do it quite successfully as well, at least so far.
I can do it better.
It's always that mindset for any driver. You do well, but you can still think that you can do better. And in reality, that's something that's really one of the joys that gets me driving. And I think many people here as well, as we see here, some new faces, some returning faces, one of which is Seva Panasenko here, who is returning to GPVWC as a whole for the first time since Formula Sprint 2 2023, I would like to say, although I might be wrong.
I remember last year driving against him in FS2.
So it would be since 2024 FS2 season.
Yeah.
I will have to check when exactly Seva had to abandon the FS2 campaign, but either way, it's very nice to see him back on the grid. And I was checking the practice lap times, and he was very well up there in third place, if I remember correctly, only beaten out by the current top two on the graphics, Alfie Denley and Nathan Cow. So definitely one to look forward to seeing in this race, and I think he's a very, very strong contender for the race wins today.
Yeah, Alfie Denley has shown himself in Formula Sprint 2 in Indianapolis, when I had to unfortunately miss the races, and Alfie was my replacement. But yeah, Alfie has really good pace. Also, he has shown it here in Academy. And yeah, Nathan, I think he can be pretty quick as well, as we saw from the practice already.
Absolutely, and Nathan Cow debuted as well here in GPVWC, at least from what I can see through his driver profile. And to see him be this quick right off the bat is definitely something that inspires, well, confidence in him, and definitely in the commentators, as well as in Menno Klond, who I'm sure will be looking on this race with many fresh faces, many returning faces, to see, as we mentioned, Alfie Denley showing himself in Formula Sprint 2, whether anyone else here on the grid will be able to show themselves in the next round in Spa-Francorchamps.
Well, wouldn't outline it for sure. It all depends from them, how nicely they can show themselves here tonight.
And speaking of nice showings, we can see Seba Panasenko here has done both purple sectors, so he's definitely going to be on provisional pole, at least for now, and that will be a 34.9, but currently not on, no apologies, that was Mark Shilagi with a 34.9, and Mark Shilagi provisionally on pole position, with Seba Panasenko a 10.5 behind. And Mark Shilagi, I was going to mention him a bit later on, another new face on the GPWC grid, but it's a stunning lap time from him.
Yeah, really nice to see some debutants as well, going straight off the bat, going so quickly.
Absolutely, and the top 5 currently is a mix of returning faces and fresh faces. Mark Shilagi and Nathan Cow first and fourth. Both debutants today, Shilagi representing Hungary and Cow representing the USA. Seba Panasenko returning to GPVWC, as we mentioned. Mitja Smith has been competing in the Academy Series for a couple of rounds now. And another returning face who has competed in Academy earlier this season and did have a Formula Sprint 2 showing is Giovanni Santoro of Italy. So very nice to see him back on the grid, and seeing as he is a close friend of mine, I did step into contact with him earlier on this week. Well, not this week, seeing as it's Monday, but either way. He did say that he was a bit busy with other leagues and was unable to compete in GPWC. However, he has cleared out his schedule, so hopefully we do see more of him now over the summer and hopefully over the fall as well. And he did also mention to me that he is not particularly fond of the Formula Sprint 2 cars, so he will be aiming for that Formula Sprint 1 shot.
I would say going right to Formula Sprint 1 is quite unlikely than to go straight into Formula Sprint 2. But nothing is impossible, as we saw of Juho Sopanen this season start, going straight to FS1. So, yeah, everything is possible.
And apologies for cutting you off there, but Juho Sopanen showed that it can be done, as well as Davide Zanini did last season, if I remember correctly. Although I think that was a jump from Formula Sprint 2 to Super Lights. And this season as well, we had Alexander Gonzalez Green jumping from Academy Series to Formula Sprint 1. Mentioning that because, of course, he drives from a team, but either way, definitely can be done to jump from Academy to Formula Sprint 1. The question is how successful you will be. And speaking of jumps up from Academy, we see Alfie Denley here, green in both sectors, and he'll definitely improve his lap time.
It was an invalidation.
We didn't see where he invalidated the lap time, but
seemed to be in sector 3 somewhere.
Either way, I'm sure that that wasn't the best we've seen of Alfie Denley quite yet, and he's currently down in P19, and I don't think he will be staying there for much longer, as well as David Yunt down in P20. But never mind that, we're currently on board with Nathan Cow, who was 100th up in Sector 1 on his personal best, and 800ths up in Sector 2, so depending on how he takes Sector 3, and he goes very wide, but I can tell from driving this track that the track limits there are a bit lenient, so it does depend on how much the gravel really slowed him down there, whether he will be able to improve or if the lap will be valid at all, really, as we see him round the final corner. And will be invalidated, unfortunately.
Yeah, it seems to be the Mobile 1 curve there. It's just quite tricky, as we see here.
Quite
going really sideways through Mobile 1. Also, it's a fun fact that we don't see Estonians really often in Academy Series.
You would be correct. If I check really quickly, Jan Markoit, the first Estonian representative in the Academy Series this year, as well as another new face on the GPVWC grid. If we can see whether he's on track, Zachary Osawaye, down in P17. Yes, there we go. Thank you, Remco. Zachary Osawaye, debutant in GPWC, first Nigerian ever to compete in the GPWC championship in any series. Currently not doing quite as well as he would have probably hoped on his debut. 8/10ths down in Sector 1. But I think, seeing as this is his debut, I think it's more about a learning curve. Just getting met with the car, staying out of trouble. And I think he can get results in if he does that. But nevertheless, nice to see another new nationality being represented in the league. And I think we ought to turn our attentions elsewhere now, as I see it looks like we've got another driver joining in very late into qualifying. Luka Zibok.
Yeah.
Luka Zibok has joined us quite late into qualifying as we see him go out on track. If I remember correctly, Luka Zibok representing Romania, so we got a Hungarian and Romanian on track. We got a plethora of nationalities being represented today, and that's what makes GPWC and sim racing really that much more special. As we see the man from Netherlands, Mietje Smith, go purple in Sector 2 and 3. Unfortunately, not quite enough for pole position, 1/10 off Mark Shilagi. But we see Seva Panasenko, exactly.
Is going 0.02 of a second right now quicker than Gilagi on provisional pole right now. So Seva really needs to nail these final two corners, and he aborts it. That's a shame.
That was weird. I did not quite see. Did he go wide into the penultimate turn, or did he turn in too early, clip the curb?
I think he went wide in Mobile 1, maybe.
It could be. But at the same time, we didn't quite see, so we won't know for certain. As we see Nathan Cow now on his out lap, down in P5, but the gap inside the top 5 separated all within 0.2 of a second, which, when well, in terms of racing, really, it's not that small of a gap, but still to have this many fresh faces all within such a small gap to one another, sort of speaking, is good to see.
For sure. Also, it's that most of the people right now have a summer break, me included. Just want to take a break from school, work, whatever you name it. Just it's a common thing that we see. Not really much faces in academy in the summer period, but yeah. Also, it's really nice to see that we have 25 names here tonight.
Absolutely, and the top name right now, Mark Schlag, is gone purple in both sectors again. And we didn't see how he took Mobile 1 curve, and oh, bit of a slide there. That will be a bit detrimental to his lap time, but I think he's been well able to save the lap time, and unfortunately 2 tenths down, but still a good lap time. Unfortunately, he did have a bit of a slide in the penultimate turn, which put a bit of a dent on his lap time, but still provisional pole for Mike Shilagi, as we saw Alfie Denley go up to P6 in the meantime. And
As
we
we
see
see
Pierre
here.
de Rome, a tenth up in Sector 1 on his personal best, down in P8, but he could be going up depending on how he does Sector 3 here. Let's see the delta for Sector 2, 2 tenths up.
Down from Gilagi.
Well, 2 tenths up on his personal best, but I don't think this will be quite a pole position worthy lap time, but I still think, depending on how he takes Sector 3 here, and it looks fine so far, he could rise up to within half a tenth maybe of the top 5, and let's see the lap time then. That would be a 35.4, rises him up to P7, only jumps Giovanni Santoro and goes up a position, but still a good lap time.
But here's Alfie Denley, Sector 1, purple, 700ths of a second faster than Gilagi on P1, and now 200ths of a second faster than Gilagi as he goes sideways through Mobile 1, but not too wide, but definitely lost some time there. But now these final crucial corners left. And if he nails them... Oh,
No.
yeah, that's unfortunate.
I think he immediately saw after going sideways through the Mobile 1 curve that...
But here's Seva Pansenko. Can he do it?
Not quite. Sector 3 seems to be the place on track where people lose the most time compared to one another and themselves. We've seen many people go sideways through the penultimate turn, and we've seen many people go wide into the Mobile 1 curve entering the stadium section. And I think that's going to be quite a troublesome spot in the race as well. Although, depending...
Oh, David Yunt going provisional pole. This is a surprise.
I wouldn't really say it's a surprise. I think David Yunt, regardless of the fact he was down many places than expected for the beginning of qualifying, I think we expected him to be amongst the front runners, and if anything, it's surprising it's taken him this long to get a lap time that good in. And with just about half a minute left of qualifying, he is currently on pole position, and I think it'll be interesting to see if anyone can knock him off that peg. Jiří Kratochvil doesn't look like it'll be them, although Giovanni Santoro, a tenth down on his personal best in Sector 1. However, he did set a purple Sector 2, so that'll be interesting to see his lap time of 35.3, only rises up to P8. Anyone else on track? We see Haruki Jr., purple in Sector 1 and green in Sector 2, although goes wide out of the Sud curve. No, sorry,
Mitchell
the
Smith.
Sachs curve.
Mitchell Smith, on the meanwhile, has gone provisional pole from David Yunt.
And he has really 34.8, so that's provisional pole for now for Misha Smith. Haruki Jr. did set a 35.5. Pierre de Rome not going to be improving on this lap, unfortunately. Yellow in both sectors, and did go wide through Mobile 1. Michał Siedlecki, another debutant today representing Poland, seems to be improving his lap time. No, he's lost 2.2 seconds in Sector 3. Must have been a mistake somewhere there. Although we see the man who we've talked about the most, arguably, today so far, Mark Schlag, is purple in both sectors again. And now all he needs to do is nail that final sector. And I think he does have the capabilities to do that. And it'll be interesting to see Bit of a
Ooh.
slide, a bit unsettled there through the penultimate turn, but it looks like he was able to control the car well. 32, 33, will Mark Schlage beat Paul? No. Half a tenth down in sector 3, and he stays in third position. And do we have anyone else on track? It would not appear so, which means Meacher Smith is your pole
Actually, we
position
have
sitter.
David Yunt, but he's not quicker than Mitchell.
David, I think we should still follow David Yunt because he's on green sectors as we see so far. Oh well, we should, I think. Let's see David Yunt going through the penultimate turn and now the final turn.
Yep.
No, abandons the lap.
I think it was an in lap, so nothing really special.
Alright then, so following what's been pretty good qualifying so far, we have Meacher Smith on pole position, followed by David Yunt and Mark Schlage, which rounds up the top 3. Seba Panasenko and Dan Fain in 3rd and 4th, Nathan Cow and Alfie Denley in 6th and 7th, followed by Giovanni Santoro, Pierre de Rome and Haruki Jr. 8th, 9th and 10th. Mark Anthony Rasenayaham in P11, followed by Adrian Sr. in P12, Jirek Kratochvel and Martin Reitberg in 13th and 14th, Jerome Berg and Brando Tenore in 15th and 16th, Dan Hutt and Anthony Walk in 17th and 18th, Michal Siedlecki and Anderson Bayano in 19th and 20th. And the last 5 drivers we have on the grid: Luka Zipok 21st, Zakaria Savaya 22nd, Noah McKenna also 22nd it was seen.
Someone left.
I think the graphics here are a bit... Yep. Noah McKenna with a faster lap time behind Zakaria Savaya, so should be Noah McKenna 22nd, Zakaria Savaya 23rd, Amal Hafid 24th and Jan Norkoy 25th. And has anyone left the server? Can you please verify that?
Noah McKenna, it seems to be.
So Noah McKenna left the server, which caused the glitch in the standings. I do see Noah McKenna in one of the VCs inside our Discord server, which, if you would like to participate in this league, I do recommend on joining, as we have a very welcome community who would love to help you get in on the action in here. And I do see them in there, so possibly had to fix something. Either way, I think they'll be back, at least I hope so. And yeah, very good qualifying session, I would say, Kurt.
Yeah, I can totally agree with you. One of the most exciting qualifying sessions I have seen this year. So yeah, really nice to follow.
Absolutely, and following that qualifying session, who would you have your money on, if we had any money to bet on in here? Who would you say has the biggest chances of winning?
Well, in Academy, as always, it has been a really big of a gamble, I would say, because even the pole sitters can't really make it to a win. So yeah, it will be only time will tell, because yeah, right now I really can't make any predictions because Academy Series is really unpredictable.
That's a good point, actually. Academy Series being the entry-level series, there's a bit of varying degrees of skill levels between top drivers and the bottom drivers, which is not something that we are against. We are a platform that allows people to get into league racing, and we welcome people. So if you would like to participate, you're very welcome to participate. And it just goes to show, with the amount of people we have today, that sim racing is, well, on our Factor 2 at least, because I've seen many people say that the online sim racing community on our Factor 2 is slowly dropping off, but we can see from the attendance here that there's still people very much interested in this game, and that's nice to see, because it provides us with some comfort, I guess you could say.
Maybe.
Either way, I went too deep into trying to say my point, and the point being that it's nice to see so many people here today from different parts of the world and different levels of skill, because I mean, at the end of the day, we're all here because we enjoy doing what we do, and it's nice to see so many people being able to do that.
It's really great to see that sim racing is not dying yet, as 2020 wasn't the most shiniest year. So yeah, sim racing will shine again for sure.
Absolutely.
There are still people who are really interested of it. So yeah, really nice to see it.
And well, I don't really know what to say here. We could go for a break, or I could pull out the Academy spreadsheet that I keep track of and read out some stats so far for the Academy season. We are not quite, well, we are halfway through the season. This is round 11 of 18, if I remember correctly. So we are well past the halfway point so far of the season. And this being round 11, stats are being read out from round 10. We mentioned just now how many people still come in and do Academy inside here. In the first 10 rounds of the Academy series this season, we've had 91 different drivers participate in at least one race. Not round, just one race.
Wow.
Which I think is lovely to see, and we had people from very different parts of the world. We've had first times that some nationalities have been represented in GPWC. Amr Al-Hafi, who's competing today as well, is the first Syrian to drive in GPWC, competed in Donington 2 weeks ago and is here again. Zachary Osawaya, who we mentioned as well, the first Nigerian to compete in any GPWC series. We had people from Sri Lanka in Mark Anthony Rasaniahan, who's here today again. We had people from Thailand in Alfred Enley. We had people from Brazil, another one of who is Anderson Bayano, who's here today, another debutant. We now have people from Romania in Luka Zibok, Hungarians in Mark Shilagi. We had Americans today, Nathan Cow. Czech people have competed as well. Dan Fien today and Alex Day earlier on in the season. But yeah, different parts of the world being represented in the Academy series, and it's lovely to see. I think we've had every continent represented so far, although I could be wrong. Let me verify this. Yes, we have. We've had at least one driver from every continent so far. Apologies, in the 2025 Academy Series season. Only one, I think, though, has been from Africa, that being, if I remember correctly, Dylan Conway, who represented South Africa in Indianapolis, it was. I have Remco asking me if Antarctica was represented as well. Well, unless we have some scientists come up and drive, then I don't think we'll have any Antarcticans being represented.
Yeah, you never know what life brings you.
Exactly. But yeah, I think it's lovely to say that we had a driver from every continent, every permanently habitable continent compete. We don't count Antarctica. I don't think Antarctica is even an option on decide, which I don't see where it would be. But
Mm,
either way, we had 91 drivers from how many nationalities? Give me a second to count, apologies.
excuse me for a second.
Oh. Well, never mind. I would have assumed that Kert would keep you entertained while I count nationalities, but that's alright. It's not really that big of a deal. But either way, God, I'm dehydrated. Apologies. But yeah, we have new nationalities today as well, as we mentioned: Luka Zibok, Zakaria Sawaye, Mark Shilagi. I don't know. I've run out of topics. Really. I think the best we can do right now, while we still have a minute and a half left of warm-up, is just enjoy watching the drivers that we have in front of us today. Enjoy themselves while they drive. Just silence is good sometimes.
As well as we were talking about nationalities. One nationality hasn't caught my eye yet this year in Academy, actually. And I think it's Sweden. We haven't seen any Swedish drivers this year, or have we?
I do not think so.
I think we have seen Norwegian, because Christian Glamset.
We have indeed seen Christian Glamset to represent Norway. Finland has also been represented with Juho Soppinen. Sweden, however, has not been represented. So far, at least. Denmark has been represented with Caroline Harvig.
Yeah.
Australia with Matthew McKinnon. Philippines with Haruki Jr. We had Latvia represented by Krista Svilo while he was on his Formula Sprint 2 sabbatical.
Yeah.
Who else have we had? We have 20 drivers so far represent England out of the 91.
Wow.
So that would be a certain percent that I am currently not bothered enough to calculate. But following England's 20 drivers, the most represented nationality is Italy with 9, followed in third by Brazil with 8, and then fourth place is shared by the Netherlands and Poland with 7. Although, seeing as these are stats from round 10 at Donington, Michał Siedlecki, competing today, adds an 8th Polish driver, which means Poland now shares third place with Brazil.
Really interesting, like, info you have about Academy.
Well, in my off time, I like to keep myself busy because on track I'm not particularly that capable, but I think this started last season when I saw the final standings for all the career ladder championships. I went through the Google Excel files for them and I noticed there was no Academy Series section, so I think the Academy Series, with how many drivers, good and bad, and current competitive drivers in all career ladder series has introduced, deserves its own section. So I thought, why not just do it myself? So I went through for about half a week through all of the results through the season for the Academy Series, noted them all down, and although the Academy Series is not a career ladder series, so ergo it does not have any points for top 15 or anything like that, I decided to implement a system following the Formula Sprint 2 points, even though, as I said just now, Academy doesn't use it.
Yeah, because it's not a career ladder series.
Yeah, exactly. But I figured to make it a bit more interesting, I would implement it in a way that, well, at least for last season, it was average points. So whoever had the most average points would be first. But for this season, it has both average points and overall points, although no points are actually scored inside the series. And
Also, in the
if
YouTube chat, Kaido Korits has asked, who was the last Estonian to win an Academy Series race?
I will check this, and well, he pops up immediately in the 2024 version of the in the 2024 version of the spreadsheet, as he had the second biggest average points scored. It was Kaspar Kuritz, who
It was actually Eketompat last year, Imola. Also, apologies, my headphones
was
cord. My headphones cord came unplugged. So yeah.
No, you are completely right. Apologies. Eketompat did win. That was race 2 in Imola last season.
It was a one-off appearance. So yeah, what a one-off appearance that was from him.
Incorrect, actually. He did the round before, which was Road America.
Right.
12th and 21st in Road America, followed by 12th and 1st at Imola. And Mateusz Schmeicher, as we see here, was first in the Academy Series as well. But never mind last season. We are here for this season, and I think it's about time we focus on this race as well. And let's go down the grid one more time before we start the race. Mietje Smith in P1, pole position for the Dutch driver, very good lap by him, followed by David Junt, Mark Shilagi and Sava Panasenko from 2nd down to 4th, Dan Fine in P5, Nathan Cow in P6, Alfie Denley in P7 and Giovanni Santoro in P8. As we see the skies changing in the background. Pierre de Rome in P9, Haruki Jr. in P10, Mark Anthony Rasenayaham in P11 and Adrian Sr. in P12. Jiri Kratochvil in P13 and Jerome Berg in P14. Brando Tenorio in P15 and Dan Hutt, who owns Hutt Performance Engineering, down in P16. Anthony Walker in P17, Michal Siedlecki in P18, Anderson Bayano and Luka Zibok, P19 and P20, Noah McKenna in P21, Zachariah Sawai, P22, Amral Hafi in P23, Jana Koit in P24, and I think we have one more driver, yes, Kenneth Reuting, who is a very, very late addition. He did not do qualifying, so we're assuming he joined through warm-up while we were off rambling about nationalities and everything, but he's actually down in P25.
In warm-up I actually saw 26 drivers, so someone decided not to still appear.
That is unfortunate, but we are hoping, whoever it was, that they do attend the second race at least.
Let's hope so. But still, we have a race 1 now to follow. 25 drivers is still a huge amount.
Exactly, especially compared to Donington last round, where we only had 15 drivers. Still not the most we had this season, but a very good amount nevertheless. And I think with as many drivers as we have today, we will have equally good racing as we wait for all the drivers to line up. And have we got everyone lined up?
Yes, we do.
We do, as the lights start turning on, and the lights eventually go off as we start race 1 of the German Grand Prix, and we immediately have yellow flags, unknown reason, hopefully nothing serious in the back, as we see Mietje Smith defend P1 very well from David Junt, and they're all going 3 wide there.
Michal Siedlecki has started from pit lane, it seems.
Very unfortunate for him, but we almost saw P2 down to P4, if I was not mistaken, go 3 wide into turn 2, as there's yellow flags in sector 2. Something's happened in the back,
Dan Hut, Pierre de Rome.
David Junt has defended from Mike Shilagi, although he will have to watch out for Seba Panasenko on the inside, but he defends it very well. Mike Shilagi was a bit unsettled there, which leaves Seba Panasenko to go through and claim P3 for now. Behind them we see Alfie Denley battling with Dan Fane, and looks like Alfie Denley's got P5 for now low. What a move that is from Haruki Jr. Bit of contact, but nothing major, and that's a very good move, I would say, from Haruki Jr.
Really unexpected, so.
Exactly. And that's...
Oh, Dan Fine is a bit wide now in Mobile 1.
Exactly, and we mentioned this in qualifying as well. That turn will catch many people off guard. And we saw 2 people already on lap 1. Dan Fine and Haruki Jr. that was in front of him as well, who's now battling Alfie Denley for P5.
As yeah, in lap 1 we had actually one accident between Dan Hut and Pierre de Rome, as it seems Pierre de Rome has some damage now, as he is the last position of the race, as is P24. As in the meanwhile, Dan Hut has retired, and
there's a big crash in the background.
There's a car, we have the front wheel.
And we see Adrian Senior and Zacharias Sawai in the pit lane, and who
was
that?
Marc-Anthony Rassanagam.
Marc-Anthony Rassanagam seems to be...
And Anthony Walker.
I would love to get a replay on what happened back there when we take a break from some of the action, although it looks like it'll be hard to take a break from the action currently. Alfie Denley, while catching, seems to be battling behind as well, although so do the people behind him, and it's just a big old train of battles here for now, and it's only lap 2 as we see.
Oh, this contact!
Oh, massive dive bomb by Giovanni Santoro, I think that was.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It did not work in his favor. He did not brake as hard as he should have for that, and he is the one who took the short end of the stick there. And I think he'll be aiming to get back from that, and definitely his fault there. But both drivers are still in the race, seemingly not majorly affected, so that's good to see at least.
Everyone is on track, so that's always great to see. As we have a yellow in sector 3, and it's Jana Koit who is falling down. Or Mikael Sietletsky just got past him, as we see what happened to Marc-Anthony Rassanagam now.
And we see yellow flags being waved while we have a replay.
Oh, just pushed off white.
It took a bit too much speed, looked like, into the corner and tapped the back of...
Oh, just the rear end going. Oh. Just the rear end going away. Oh!
No!
Yeah, looks like
no.
Marc-Anthony Rassanagam just stalled the car, and that's the end of his race.
Not very.
Who was that orange car there? Who was just a victim there?
I think that was Anthony Walker who we mentioned, because...
Oh! Yeah,
it was Anthony Walker.
You are correct.
That looked entirely like Rasanayagam's fault to me, because he did spin. He did lose the rear, no question about that. It happens to people. It's, well, normal, you could say. But after you spin, what you have to do is hold your brakes, which he did not do. Anthony Walker takes evasive action, goes to the left to avoid him, but Rassanagam does not hold his brakes, clips him and sends him into the tire barriers, and that's race over for Anthony Walker, unfortunately.
Yeah, he just had nowhere to go there.
Well, it's not that he had nowhere to go, he had somewhere to go, and then as he was going through, he just lost the room.
He could have gone through inside, but just, couldn't make it. But here we see Nathan Gao going through the inside of turn 1. That's a really brave move there.
Unfortunately, it did not work, and now he has to defend from Giovanni Santoro, who has passed him before turn 2, so now Nathan Gao chasing down the position he hoped to leave behind. And depending on how Jiri Kratochvil lines up for the hairpin here, he might be chasing another position he hoped to leave behind.
So as we see, the biggest gainers and losers, biggest gainer is Rohtjarv, who started from P25 actually, and is now sitting in P11. So 14 places gained within 4 laps. So that's quite impressive.
And it's definitely related to what we mentioned during warm-up. In Academy, you can't really expect just one person to run off and win. Anything can happen. It's like a big gambling race. And we can see there as well with Kenneth Roething, who's gone up from P25 to P11. With all the chaos unfolding around him, he's been a massive gainer, and depending on how the race unfolds as well, he could be gaining even more positions or potentially losing them.
All depending from them, or just being really unfortunate victims, as we saw with Anthony Walker there. But yeah.
Someone who's not a victim is Mark Gilagi, who's managed to get past David Junt, and we see many people in replays and live as well so far. We've seen many people go quite wide into turn 1, and I do not know how the track limits are, but from my experience they're very lenient there, so people seem to be using that to their advantage. And we see Alfie Denley now attacking David Junt, hoping to get on the podium and higher his chances of getting that permanent Formula Sprint 2 seat, which seems to be going well so far as he moves up into P3.
David Junt was really wide through Spitzkecher. Oh, sorry for the pronunciation. I'm not German, so.
Alfie Denley is gonna send a move here. He thought about it. Contact, but fault of neither of the drivers. Mike Shilagi bit on the curb there, unsettled a bit. Something Alfie Denley did not expect, and just a slight tap, nothing major. And I think
third tier through Mobile 1 is never a thing you would like, so that's why Alfie Denley was really wide through Mobile 1. But now he hasn't let Mark Shilagi go too far, so we will get a new chance quite early as David Junt goes off. David Junt goes off in Südkurve, going on to the sausage curb there, and just no control over the car when you are on there.
And he's gone wide in the hairpin as well, and he's gone wide in the final turn now, which makes you wonder, did David Junt receive any damage potentially while we were not keeping an eye on the battle he had with Mike Shilagi? And he's dropping down massively now. He's lost from his starting position 3, and he looks to be losing even more soon with Haruki Jr. right behind him, and I think Jr. here will clear him before the hairpin. And yes, he has. He has the inside line. He's in front of the...
Oh, David is off.
Oh, and that's very interesting, because Haruki
I
Jr.
think there is some damage.
There's definitely some damage now, if there wasn't before, but that was very interesting. Haruki Jr. was fully alongside and expecting, I suppose, David Junt to pull out, but Junt braked later, and as Jr. was already closing in the space, from what it looked like to me at least, Junt just sailed past and had slight contact, and unfortunately lost more positions. He's now P7 behind Nathan Cow as well. And we see Misha Smith here, or at least we did. Now we're looking at the replay of the incident. Let's see. And yes, Haruki Jr. gives a bit of a squeeze to David Junt, brakes later. I might be wrong, but it looked like he locked his front tires a bit as well.
Yeah, he locked his front left, to be exact, for a moment.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Not much space left by Haruki Jr. there, but I feel like had Junt not locked his tires, that the turn would have gone without any major incident. But unfortunately, that's not what happened, and he's now dropping into more positions.
So there is definitely some damage there to David Junt's car, as we see here Dan Tyne going at it with, is it Jiří Kratochvil?
That would be Jiří Kratochvil for P7, as David Junt, despite the potential damage is still there. He's still expecting that mistake from either one of them to gain back the positions he lost. As we see yellow flags in Sector 2, Kenneth Rating dropped the position, assuming that
Losing even more.
something's happened to him, and he's dropped from P11 to P13 behind McKenna and Siedlecki. I'm assuming he went wide out of the hairpin. Potentially, we did not see quite what happened, but it doesn't appear to have been major because he looks to be driving entirely fine. Although, let's have a look. It might have just been a soft spin.
Yeah, completely by it himself. Just, spinning around actually.
Yeah, I've had that happen a couple of times, I'm not ashamed to admit. A bit too early on the accelerator out of the hairpin, lose the back end, and unfortunately spin and lose 2 positions. It's just not very fortunate, but it happens.
Yeah, for sure. As we see here, Seva Panasenko, right now P4. Maybe he started P3, but here Seva Panasenko fighting against Mark Shilagi, but gets closed the door by Alfie Denley as well. So here's a three-way fight for P2.
Oh, bit pushy there from Mark Shilagi, who's trying to battle Alfie Denley for P2. Doesn't take into account Panasenko all that much. That was a very good battle through the hairpin as well. We had 3 drivers all bunched up together. Many things could have happened there, but fortunately enough, all the things that did happen were clean. And there's a bit of a battle here for P2 now, which is very good to see, as we see Mark Shilagi go quite wide there. Oh, Panasenko a bit unsettled through the Saxon curve, I think that is, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's Saxon curve.
Alfie Denley now seems to be running away a bit from Shilagi, as he's trying to gain on Denley while also trying not to get gained on by Panasenko. Although the biggest winner of this battle for P2, I think, would be the person in P1, Mitchell Smith, who's now pulled a considerable gap on Alfie Denley of 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, so it looks like Mitchell Smith just has controlled this race from lap 1 on, because it seemed like Mark Shilagi also himself couldn't really keep up with Mitchell. But also it seems like Alfie can't really catch up to him as well. I thought he could, but here Mark Shilagi and Seva Panasenko going side by side into no-name curve. So, there's contact.
A bit of a touch there, but nothing major. It's more of a rub than a contact, really. And Mark Shilagi still keeps P3 for now, but Seva Panasenko is very close by still. And I think with this battle for P3 happening now, Alfie Denley can rest assured that P2 is his, unless he makes a major mistake. Or unless Mitchell Smith makes a major mistake and be against P1, although I do not see that currently happening. As we appear to have lost Kert again. Nope, never mind.
No, I'm here. Don't worry. Yeah, but you can't really outline it because everything is possible still. So, yeah.
That is true. And going down a bit further, taking a break from the battle for P3, which seems to have settled down a bit now, we see Giovanni Santoro following Dan Fein and Jiří Kratochvíl, who are battling for P7. Santoro, who did have very, very promising performances earlier when he started in the Academy Series, now looking to get back to those promising performances, as we see yellow flags in Sector 1. No one seems to be losing positions from what I can see.
It is
Anderson Baiano, although we are too focused on this battle currently to see what happened to him. Dan Fein seemed to have Jiří Kratochvíl for a second, but not anymore. And this is a battle of the Czechs today for P7.
It looks like
Which
Anderson
should-
Baiano, in the meanwhile, has some damage because he's losing time quite drastically. But here, yeah, as you were saying, Dantine and Kartoch will still fighting it out. Here, through Mobile Curve and now Sass Curve, but not a overtaking place, so Dantine could use a potential overtaking chance into North Curve, aka the turn 1.
He could, but it looks like he's lost too much time because of dirty air through those
Oh,
two
Dantine
turns.
is wide.
And now goes wide as well, and that will allow Giovanni Santoro to gain the overlap on him and take P8. And no, apologies. Now Giovanni Santoro is in a Czech sandwich, and he's going to be aiming. As we
Oh,
see,
someone's
someone
sideways.
spun in the background. Was that David Junt?
I'm not
I think
sure.
that might have been David Junt, but I'm not
Might
quite
have been.
sure. It might have also been a lapped car.
Yeah, I think it's David Yant because, yeah, he has lost quite some time.
Let's get a check on that. I think it was David Junt. Let's see what happened there. I'm assuming he took too much curb. Yeah.
Oh, just lost it, yeah.
Took too much curb and settled the car.
Before entering, already it seemed like the rear end of his car was quite unstable.
And we'll take this chance to take a look at what happened to Anderson Baiano as well.
Just by himself.
Almost identical to what happened to Rasenayaham earlier on in the race, where he DNF'd alongside Anthony Walker.
Yeah.
But fortunately enough, no damage done apart from flat spotting his tires. As we come back to the last laps of the race with Anderson Baiano down in P19, but I think where we should be looking is that battle for P7, because I think Kratochwil has now gapped Santoro, who's battling fine for P8, and Kratochwil is now aiming for Haruki Jr. for P6. So these are two good battles, very, very close to one another, which could become one big battle if everything goes along as well one would imagine. And this will be very interesting to see these last 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, looks like they don't really want to let go of each other, but here is Dantine and Giovanni Santoro going into Spitzkecher as the hairpin we have on Hockenheim ring, but doesn't make the move yet.
Bit of a touch there on fine from Santoro while turning in. Santoro took a bit of a wider line through the long left-hander
Oh,
to
Jiri Kartochwil is a bit wide there.
defend the inside from fine, and it worked. And
David
David
Yant.
Junt seems to have spun again and lost more positions. Very unfortunate for the Swiss driver today. But the silver lining would be that he will be very high up on reverse grid.
I think it's his objective right now, but it could be really, yeah, not really, well, how can I say, relevant to do that.
Well, not relevant in this race, but definitely relevant for next race, especially depending on how things go
Now,
on
Kenneth
up
Rötting.
front.
Kenneth Rötting has made the mistake.
I'm assuming he's had another spin as he's dropping.
Oh,
down
Jiri
now.
Kartochwil.
Jiri Kartochwil very close to hitting Haruki Jr. there. I think Haruki Jr. will be defending for his life here into the hairpin, and we see that this has allowed Giovanni Santoro to close in.
Free
And
wide
this might be a
into the
free wide
hairpin.
situation, and Giovanni Santoro looks so far to be the biggest one. No, goes wide out of the hairpin, and all
Yes,
the
side
positions
by
he's
side.
gained, he loses immediately. Apologies, not done fine. Santoro and Kratochwil side by side now entering.
Santoro going
here.
through.
Santoro looks to gain 2 positions in one corner. Bit of a touch there on Haruki Jr. and gains the position on Kratochvil, but not on Junior. Looked like Santoro pulled out a bit due to the contact. Very, very aggressive defending there from... Oh!
As you said, it's all a big fight
Junior.
now.
Very, very aggressive defending there from Junior, and Santoro did
contact.
go wide into the hairpin, into the Model 1 curve, into the gravel, and Jiří Kratochvil has been spun around.
Yeah,
there was
Dan and Jiří
contact with
Kratochvil
Dan Pine.
had some contact there through the carousel.
And this is allowed now Michal Siedlecki to have a chance of getting P9.
Jiří actually just tried himself, so yeah. So yeah, Dan didn't
Very
do anything
ambitious.
wrong there.
Very ambitious there from Kratochvil, but he's the one who pulled the short end of the stick there, so in the end, we see David Junt being inspired by Kenneth Reuting. And
I think it was by himself actually.
it was.
Yeah.
But either way, we go back to the final lap to see this massive battle for P6 with Haruki Jr. doing what he did last. He did what he did last lap again, and it's worked in his favor yet again. He took the long line and swooped in very sharply and took back the positions he would have lost. Santoro with a very contact there. Santoro pushes Junior a bit wide. And as a low down to go through into P6, Santoro wide through one of the turns. I've seen Misha Smith about to cross the line in P1, very dominant from him. Then in P2 looks like Shilagian's Panasenko will stay the same as well. Nathan Cow as well, but I want to see what's happening back. Junior still in P8. And will Santoro be able to make a move? No, not quite. Unsettled there through the penultimate turn, and he will have to settle for P7. Dan Fine in P6, Junior in P8.
But here's a
battle now for
reverse
the reverse grid pole. Brando Tenorio currently in P15.
Both of them are off. Is he going through the carousel? No, he's not.
Kenneth Reuting looks to gain back what he lost, but I don't think he'll be quite able to. There's not many overtaking opportunities here in Sector 3.
No, he's a bit wide. Can he take the position? No. Almost.
What was that in front?
That's Nova McKenna.
That is Nova McKenna, it is. What happened to Nova McKenna? Because Nova McKenna was around P12 or 13. And we see Lucas Zibok finished in P13 now, so something definitely happened to Nova McKenna. As we see people celebrating after the race. What happened to Nova McKenna? Was it purely on their own? Yeah. Try to take too much curb to have more aggressive entry.
Kenneth Reuting could have gotten a reverse grip pole if he wouldn't have made a mistake as well, but yeah.
It looked like he didn't expect that rejoin from McKenna to be quite there, so looked like a bit of a late reaction to it, but either way, P16 for Kenneth Reuting and Nova McKenna will be on reverse grid pole then. As we see Misha Smith doing donuts that he very much deserved to do. After quite a dominant race in the opening laps, a bit challenged by David Junt, but in the end it is Misha Smith who wins the race and gets rear-ended by someone. Alfie Denley and Mark Shilagi round out the podium with Seva Panasenko in 4th place. Nathan Cow completes the top 5, and then from 6th to 10th to complete the top 10 is Dan Fine, Giovanni Santoro, Haruki Jr., Jiří Kratochvil and Michal Siedlecki. David Junt in P11 with Jerome Berg in P12, Lucas Zibok, good on debut in P13, Brando Tenorio and Nova McKenna in P14 and 15, rounding out what would be points in the career ladder with Nova McKenna on reverse grid pole. Kenneth Reuting almost got reverse grid pole but is down in P16, Adrian Senior and Amral Haf in P17 and 18, and Anderson Bayano and Jan Arkoit in P19 and P20. Zacharias Awai, who was 1 lap down, unfortunately, down in P21. And then our DNFs, Pierre de Rome, Anthony Walker, Marc-Anthony Rasanayahem, and Dan Hood.
Also, yeah, from YouTube chat, I can see that Kert has set a lot cleaner than an average FS2 race. Yeah, I can totally agree with you. As a driver, what I've been through, then yeah, I would say it's a lot more cleaner. It's like a different dimension.
Well, I'm not going to comment really because I feel like I have no ground to stand on. I do follow Formula Sprint 2, but I feel like it's not in my position to comment on the happenings inside. I will leave that to you. But either way, it was cleaner than usual. We didn't have 4 DNFs, but all of the DNFs were in the opening laps of the race. Most of the race was fairly clean. There were some slight contacts during battles for positions, but it didn't look like anything major that would significantly cost the other driver, apart from potentially the incident between Junior and Yunt. But I think both of the drivers would better explain what happened there than I personally would.
Yeah. It's quite interesting to see, for me at least. So less, not so much retirees, but yeah, as always, in Academy Series we have a race 2, as anywhere else, apart from the Super League and Super Lights. As here we have a rule that top 15 are being swapped around, so for race 2 our reverse grade pole will be Nova McKenna, and from there on 14th, 13th, 12th, 11th, etc. will be 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Don't go anywhere.
I think it's worth, now that we've had this very eventful race 1, that we take a bit of a break before race 2. If we don't find anything that we can comment on, I don't think we have anything to comment on.
We commented about everything in the warm-up before race 1.
So I think it would be worth to take a bit of a break now, and we will return for race 2.
Yep, see you. And race 2 will be even more fun.
Welcome back to the Academy series, or not.
Is there?
I don't think this has ever happened before on one of these. I suppose it's the first time for everything.
Oh,
but
actually, the server
shouldn't be.
crashed.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. We did see, it's not just us. I did see Brando Tenorio mention in the league server that he wasn't able to find the server on the server list, so this explains everything. So what now?
Amir Oates in the broadcast team says, "Quick, go to commercials again. Server is broken." It's a thing we could do, but yeah, we could yap around as well.
We can't just go back to break until the server is back up.
Yeah, we could do that, but we need to keep the YouTube chat entertained as well. Fans, otherwise we'll lose our fan base.
I could try and pull out some more statistics from this season. Let's see, what can I say that would be potentially interesting? Here we go. With Nova McKenna on reverse grid pole for Hockenheim, they are the 9th different person to have reverse grid pole, and the only person this season to have 2 reverse grid poles is Jerome Berg. Everyone else has 1. Actually, that would make Nova McKenna the 10th person. My apologies. The highest race attendance this season was not today. It was actually in race 1 for Istanbul earlier, where we had 33 people surprisingly attend. And the lowest race attendance this season has been at the Ricardo Tormo and Donington rounds, with 15 drivers in both races, in both rounds. David Junt, who's done every round this season so far in the Academy series, would be currently top of the standings if the Academy series had any points paying positions. With the results from round 10 at Donington 2 weeks ago, he would be first on 245 points, and the next closest person would be Mauro Terzoli with 154 points. David Junt also has the most podiums, most fastest laps, and most race wins so far this season, with 8 podiums, 6 fastest laps, and 4 race wins. However,
I'm seeing some interesting names through RaceView in the meanwhile, as the server has decided to come back to life. As we have Griffith Manikandan, that's weird, and also Brody Lawless, who is an FS2 primary, so he shouldn't be there.
I don't think Brody will drive, but Griffith Manikandan, who is Manu Manikandan's younger brother.
Yeah.
I think he was younger brother. Either way, the brother of Formula Sprint 2 driver Manu Manikandan. He did compete in Academy earlier this season. It was in Bahrain, if I remember correctly. He did not do the first race, but he did the second race and got 19th. And then the same happened in Istanbul, where he didn't do race 1, but DNF'd in race 2. So.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It seems to be the case again, where Krivik Manikandan does not do race 1, but attends race 2. As we will have warm-up again, seeing as the server decided to not function.
As we are still waiting some drivers to find the server again. As we have only 22 as it stands.
Yeah. Think if everyone rejoins now with Krivik Manikandan on board as well, that will bring up the number to the 26 you mentioned you saw during warm-up for race 1. Although I am looking through the server and there's still some people unable to find the server again. So we will wait. They have just about 2 more minutes until warm-up ends to be able to get back. And hopefully they all do get back.
Well, to be fair, there isn't much to yap about.
I think we've used up everything we can during the first warm-up, which, looking back, wasn't smart, but
yeah.
At the same time, we would have already been in the race, so I don't think either of us, or anyone for that matter, really expected this to happen. I don't remember the last time, if there was a time really, that the Academy race server just crashed in between the sessions.
No idea. I can't really remember our time as well, so it might be the first time we have this in Academy. Well, in my time of commentating.
I don't recall it happening in any of the other series either. Maybe it has while I wasn't here.
I think it has happened to Formula Sprint 2 when I have been racing. I'm not sure.
Either way, it's a rare occurrence, so it's not something you really expect as a driver and as a commentator. Not really much time to prepare what to talk about while you wait for everything to resolve. But
some bump drafting.
Yeah.
Oh!
Good save by Alfinelli there.
Yeah.
Who was that in front of him?
Not sure. Oh! He just went through the car. Okay then. As Alfie Tenley is trying to do the same.
Very inspirational there.
Yeah. Looks like he's being inspired by everyone.
He somehow kept his front wing as well. I think that's the most impressive part for all of that.
Yeah. That's weird.
Either way, warm-up is over now, so we should be going to race.
As we have 25 drivers now, again.
I think everyone has joined back. Keyword think. Is Krivik Manikandan still in the server?
Yes, he is. He's currently P6. Yeah.
So, if there is 25 people, with the addition of Krivik Manikandan, we are missing one driver.
Who could it be?
And I think, looking through race view, I do not see Dan Hood on the server list.
Oh yeah.
I do
We
see
have-
Dan Fane, but
Yeah.
no Dan Hood. And we didn't see what happened to Dan Hood in race 1, but he did DNF on the opening lap, so I'm assuming not in the best spirits to do race 2, unfortunately.
Yeah. As it seems, we are ready to race already, as we are not waiting for that time.
You mean Dan Hood?
Oh yeah, Dan Hood, my bad.
Either way, I think it's about time we get back to where we should have been already, and that would be the race, as we wait for everyone to get on the grid, and so we can begin the formation lap. What do you expect of this race, Kurt, seeing as how race 1 turned out? Do you think race 2 will be equally interesting, or will we see someone else run away with the win again?
I think here, no one really will run away with the win. And as we've seen before, Academy Series Race 2 has brought us a really much action. So yeah, I have no predictions for this race, to be honest. Everything is possible. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. And I think, looking at the reverse grid, which I will now list off, there is some people up front who might benefit from these positions. And once we get the graphic up, yes, as we see, Noah McKenna on reverse grid pole for this sprint Hockenheim race, which isn't really a sprint because it's the same laps, but either way, Brando Tenori in P2, P3 and P4 held by who it was, Lucas Gibok and Jerome Berg, David Jun P5, Jurek Tochel P6, Haruki Jr. P7, in P8 Giovanni Santoro, Dan Fane P9, Nathan Cower P10, Sava Panasenko P11 and Mark Shilajin P12. Alfred Enley in P13, Misha Smith in P14, Kenneth Reuting in P15, Adrian Senior down in P16. I think there was a mistake there because Kenneth Reuting was P16?
Yeah, because we don't have Dan Hood.
Ah, yeah. No, but Dan Hood DNF'd. Amaral Hafi in P17, Anderson Bayano P18, P19 and P20 held by Jan Arkoit and Zachary Osavaye. Pierre Lerone P21, Anthony Walker P22, Mark Anthony Rasanayaham P23, Martin Leitberg P24 and Krifik Manikandan P25. It feels like the grid is a bit more shaken up because I do not recall some of these people finishing in these positions in race 1.
I think we are missing someone else as well than Dan Hood. I think we're missing...
We could be, but I don't think we are, because I think everyone else who competed in race 1 is here.
Otherwise, Mika Smith should be P15, so there is a little error there.
We did not... It might just be an error, because we did not have anyone apart from Krifik Manikandan join in. And for what I can see, nobody but Dan Hood has left, because we still have 25 people. Either way, that's something that's not gonna be very, well, important once the race starts, and the race should start any second now, as we still wait for the drivers to line up on the grid. As I'm getting a message now from Chris Williamson, which I'll read out after the lights go out, which the lights have gone out, and race 2 has started. Noah McKenna with a good start, but in P2 as well.
Oh, there's contact already.
Massive spin in the back, and there's going to be some massive avoidance there. I think most people have avoided a massive spin. As I say, most, there's still three people, as Jirik Tochel seems very displeased with... Who was it? Jan Arkoit and...
Yeah, Jan Arkoit is one of the victims. Yeah, seems like Enokite is retiring this race, unfortunately.
Jirka Tochel not very pleased with what happened there and goes into the side of Walker and Coit. As we see in the meanwhile, Jerome Berg overtaking Brando Tenorio for P2, and David Junt is going to capitalize on him going wide and go up into that second position. Brando Tenorio losing 2 places in 1 corner. And that's some very... Oh! As Junt did not quite clear Berg, but he could clear Tenorio here, and he does. Bit of a contact there from what it looked like to me very quickly between Junt and Berg. As you see, yellow flags in sector 2. Chatochel is out. Santoro dropped a position, but it looked like nothing happened. As we see, spin in the background, that was Brando Tenorio. Oh no! Oh! That was very dangerous by Tenorio there. But fortunately enough, it looks like nobody collected him.
Oh, Haruki Jr.
As we see, Haruki Jr. bit forceful on Panasenko there, and that allows Misha Smith to go through as well. Misha Smith from P14 already up into P5 on lap 1. As we see Giovanni Santoro dropping massively, and he's pitting. So he must have had some damage. Whether he collected Tenorio there in that spin out of Mobile 1 is a different thing, but unfortunately Giovanni Santoro's race 2 is not going well.
As we see here, Marc-Anthony Rosanayaga defending his position from Kritik Manikandan, who has come from last position on the grid to P14 for now. So really well done. Going 4 wide into the hairpin here. Yeah, this is not going to end well.
But it does end well. Sure, Rosanayaga does go wide, but there doesn't appear to be any major contact that would massively impede any other drivers. We see Noah McKenna battling David Junt for the lead as we leave behind that battle for P11, I think it was, or P12. Junt now into the lead, and I did mention that there were some people who will benefit from reverse grid pole. David Junt, who started P5 or into P1, and I didn't mention whether we would see anyone sailing away. I think we could very well be seeing David Junt now sailing away to a very dominant win.
And now a second from Nova McKenna, so
a second already, exactly. A second already, the gap between Junt and McKenna, but as we did see his mistakes in race 1, and he's lost about a tenth through these first 2 turns, so it could still be a battle, but for now it looks like Junt is comfortably in the lead in front of McKenna.
Yeah. In race 1 we saw actually David spinning through turn 1, so let's hold our fingers crossed that it doesn't happen again, because it seems like his car is really unstable through corners.
It might be down to the setup, but at the same time it might have just been down to the damage in the previous race. As we see Zachary Osawai, Marc-Anthony Rosanayaga and Adrian Senior all going for that 1 position into the hairpin. Zachary Osawai did not appear to gain anything, Senior in P14, and Rosanayaga now baffling Krivik Manikandan and passes him. Although Manikandan will look to gain back that position, although he did not look well enough. And Rosanayaga keeps P12 for now. Very good move by Rosanayaga into the turn, as Manikandan goes into the gravel through Mobile 1, and we see in the back, I think that was Lucas Gibok doing the same as well. As we see someone in the grass there, I think that was Pierre de Rome. Bit of bumping here between Manikandan and Senior, as Senior passes for P13. Someone's gone a bit wider on entry into the final turn. Many things that happen here. A big battle all for P13, as Senior now seems to be running away a bit more from Manikandan, as the Rome is battling Osawai for P15.
Yeah, that's behind Pierre de Rome in the meanwhile as well. Martin Martin Rieberg and Luca Zibok are fighting as well for P70. So this could end up being a really big battle again, as we saw in race 1.
And there's big battles up front as well. I did see Alfie Denley being overtaken by Mitchell Smith, who's now appeared to overtake. Very aggressive there from Pierre de Rome, and that did not look like a particularly clean dive bomb, but he has gained the positions as we go to the battle I was mentioning, with Alfie Denley being tapped slightly, at least it looked like, by McKenna, and goes into the side of Nathan Cow, allows Seva Panasenko to go through, and Denley into the gravel, and that was Dan Fain in the gravel behind as well. Big old train forming here in sector 3. Seva Panasenko looks to have cleared Noah McKenna. Alfie Denley and Noah McKenna, and they're both in the gravel, and they've both lost many positions, and that's definitely something that both will be displeased with. And Alfie Denley seems to be retiring.
Yep.
And that's very unfortunate, because I think Alfie Denley, unless he sustained some considerable damage, I think he still could have gained back the positions. But I think what really happened is he's just very unhappy with how he's been driven, and has decided to call it quits before potentially anything else happens.
As here is Jerome Berg and Haruki Jr.
Jerome Berg goes very wide, but so does Haruki Jr. Berg off the curb wide, but Haruki Jr., while less wide, went on the curb and was a bit unsettled. Although Haruki Jr. seems to have cleared Berg here.
Not for long.
I take it back. Berg spun, and that could have been seen coming in hindsight, because Berg did the dive bomb and then sort of just planted his car in front of Junior with nowhere for him to go other than into the back of him, and Junior seemed to have taken more speed, and unfortunately it just happened the way it happened. And Berg has gone from P3 down to P11. Kenneth has been tapped as well from what looked like Dan Fain, and now he's down in P10 as well. Haruki Jr. and Berg, Kenneth Reuting and Fain, many contacts here happening here so far, more so than in the first race. And I think David Junt, who we are seeing now, will be glad to see all the battles happening behind, because he can just comfortably focus on his own driving, and he has a very good gap.
But in the meanwhile,
5 seconds.
Seva
Panasenko has overtaken Haruki Jr., and I think Seva Panasenko will now be gunning for David Junt, and this being lap 6 of 14, I think he can very well catch David Junt. We see the gap falling already, 4.6 down from 5.6. And Dan Fine, meanwhile, is battling Mitchell Smith for the 5th position, and he'll look to go on the outside of Mobile 1, pulls out, smart move, has not taken enough speed to try a move here, but he's still very close to Mitchell Smith, and Mark Shilagi is behind as well, and he'll be looking at the battle in front of him and thinking of how to gain the positions in front.
But in the meanwhile, as you said, David Junt and Seva Panasenko gap is decreasing. I would say the gap is being the same, as we see a replay here of that time.
I would like to see what happened here.
Oh! Yeah.
And who was that? That was...
Yeah, I would like to see what happened to the rear of the grid. Maybe through Jana's onboard we can see clearly.
We're on board with... We're looking...
Oh!
With Emerald Huffy. Very good avoidance there.
It seemed
But-
like the green car of Jana just going free wide through North Curve, aka turn 1, so nowhere to go for the Estonian.
and
I think he just deboned the car watching the other way. It just
But I would
seems
like-
so.
I would like to see who caused the crash initially, because it was someone within the top 5 from the looks of it. It looks like P4 and P5. And I would like to see what happened there, as we see Giovanni Santoro's on board.
Yeah.
And I think he was involved in there as well.
Oh, two purple cars.
Yeah.
Two purple cars there, causing the collision.
Unfortunate for Giovanni Santoro there. Nowhere to go. But who was...
Maybe it was Jiri.
It looked like...
I think it is Jiri.
It looks like it was Jiří Kratochvíl.
Yeah. But who with? Oh. Okay. Yeah.
And that looked
looked
like Anthony Walker pushed Jan Arkoit into Jiří Kratochvíl.
Yeah, it seemed like so because Anthony Walker was all like stuck behind Jan Arkoit in the diffuser and just pushing him into Jiří Kratochvíl. Yeah.
No, it was just the angle. Koit
Yeah.
went full into Kratochvíl on his own, but Walker failed to avoid both, and
I think Jan didn't really see the car there.
I mean, we can see from the onboard
Oh, he locked up. He
locked the tires.
Yeah, he was trying to avoid it, but yeah, just locking the tires.
I still think that's very unsportsmanlike of Kratochvíl to go into the back of Koit after the incident.
As
I
Lucas
understand
Gibot.
I understand
you
the
know.
frustration of a driver, but still doing that following an incident is not very sportsmanlike. And you mentioned Lucas Gibok is unfortunately out of the race, and we are now down to 19 drivers. As we see, we see fire in the background.
It's kind of floating, it seems. Yeah,
It is kind of floating. And what's
Guys.
happened there?
The car is completely fine, but how is the car on fire?
What's happened to Kenneth Floating?
Has he put in neutral? Yeah, it seems so.
Nah.
Can we see a bit earlier what happened? Yeah, he accidentally put neutral.
Let's see on the onboard. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Avoiding the crash and accidentally puts the car in neutral, and you kill the engine, unfortunately.
Yeah, he should have
Sad
braked.
end of the race for Kenneth Rating, but
He should
as
have
someone who's
a
done
bit-
that before, I understand how you can do it.
Yeah.
What happened to Lucas Gibok, can we see? He was battling with one of the blue cars.
Ooh.
We can't
Oh.
see who it was. Oh,
Stalled.
look like stalls the car. Unfortunate.
That's unfortunate.
Very sad to
indeed.
see. Very sad to see both Gibok and Rating go out of the race in the way they did, as we're now down to 18 drivers on lap 9 of 14, and with the drivers we have left, we have some good racing on hand. Marshall Agi's caught up to Haruki Jr., and there's a train behind him as well with Dan Fein and Marc-Anthony Rasanayahan behind. And as we see Haruki
there's
Jr.
contact.
go wide, Marc-Anthony Rasanayahan hoped to go down the inside of Dan Fein to capitalize on it, but wasn't successful, but keeps it out of the wall, and Dan Fein thought of making a move on Haruki Jr., although it did not quite work, and Marshall Agis gained P4 from Haruki Jr. Dan Fein a bit aggressive there on the curb, but he hasn't lost much time on Junior in front.
Here we see going through Parabolica, not the Monza version of it, but now into the hairpin we go. Haruki Jr. looking on the grass to move from Gilaggi and Pantine, and Haruki Jr. making a little contact there And Dan Fine is through.
Dan Fine is through, but he looked through off the track, and he gives back the position to Junior. And there was some interesting lines there from Shilagi and Junior going into the hairpin. Shilagi, of course, going all the way to the right to defend the inside, as Dan Fine raised the sausage curb there. But Junior thought he could squeeze in some more space. And speaking of space, going into the gravel again, I am unsure just how lenient the track limits out of Mobile 1 are. I've gone wide a couple of times there, and I did not get any warnings for track limits, but still it leaves you wondering just how much you can really use up the outside.
Yeah, when I was mentoring actually Janakite, he went to like pretty much times on the gravel, but yeah, track limits through the game actually counted the laps, because you actually lose time by driving on the gravel. So yeah, but in qualifying, if you went wide there, you all got instantly invalidated. So that's definitely very interesting.
And it seemed to be the case for the runoff in turn 1 as well, where you could very much ride the curb on the outside of turn 1 quite a lot and have no track limits points being given to you by the game. So that's definitely something drivers seem to be using to their advantage here today.
Looks like Nova McKenna went a bit wide through hairpin, so Pierre de Rome is through for now. But now going into the Mercedes, they are side by side with Nova McKenna. Nova McKenna just locks up briefly, but Pierre de Rome holds his position.
And that's some good battling between de Rome and McKenna there. McKenna, who started on pole position, now down in P12. Not a particularly good race for them. We see him go into the gravel, but a very good save by McKenna there, who's the second biggest loser of this race, only beaten by Brando Tenori, who's gone down 15 positions. The biggest gainer though, Marc-Anthony Rassenayaham, up in P8, has gained 15 positions. And after the way his race 1 ended, I think that's lovely to see him back in P8 and battling for P7 as well. He's very, very close behind Nathan Cow. And I think he can take him on. The question is, will he? And looks like he will. He's gaining a lot through the slipstream, although he looks to be backing out a bit. Oh, very, very close.
It's there. Just a good camera angle just doing that.
But either way, Marc-Anthony Rassenayaham with 3 laps to go, very, very close here to P7. And gaining 6. Oh, you see someone in the front. That's Haruki Jr. Haruki Jr. has been hit by Dan Fine, it looked like, and he's gone without a front wing. And I think Haruki Jr.'s chances here are just dashed now. As you see, Dan Fine seems to have some damage as well. And he does. Both have lost their front wings.
Marc-Anthony actually took advantage of that to get through Nathan Cow.
And Marc-Anthony Rassenayaham now in P5 has gained 3 positions through 2 turns, and Haruki Jr. is out of the race now. And Dan Fine might as well be out of the race as well, without a front wing, with only 3 laps to go. And we did not quite see what happened there.
Now we can see clearly. It looks like Dan Fine maybe just broke too late, or yeah.
Oh.
Or Haruki just broke way too early.
It looked like Haruki Jr. broke very early, earlier than Dan Fine anticipated, and he just didn't do quite a good enough job at avoiding it. Let's see.
Yeah, that's very early.
That's very early from Haruki Jr., but at the same time, Dan Fine, and all the time he had to process what was happening,
he should have
not quite do well enough, I would say, to avoid the incident in front. And now both Junior and Fine are out of the race and down to 16 drivers. Mark Anthony Rasenau, who I mentioned as the biggest gainer this race, has gained even more. And is now up in P5, although goes wide there, and Nathan Cow will look to gain back the position he lost from himself trying to process what happened in front. And I think this is going to be a good battle here in the closing laps, as well as this one between Reitberg and Osawaye.
Oh, almost Zakaria Osawaye, just almost running Martin Reitberg out of room, but really nice job from the newbie for this race. Up to P12.
Up to P12 is Zakaria Osawaye, as we see P11 in front, Nova McKenna in the gravel. Nova McKenna's been struggling this race quite a lot, and Osawaye might be looking to gain P11 potentially as well in this final lap if he can keep P12 away from Martin Reitberg with the very, very beautiful move he made on him, as Martin Reitberg was looking but won't be looking anymore, as Osawaye is aiming for McKenna potentially through turn 2, but no, goes wide, and Reitberg will be taking P12 instead, and potentially P11, no, too far back for now.
But Zakaria Osawaye isn't done yet.
Zakaria Osawaye is still there, but not anymore. He's now going to have to rely on the slipstream to get a run into the hairpin. One of probably, well, the second to last overtaking opportunity I would say he has, unless Reitberg has a mistake. And up front, David Junt is coasting to a very comfortable win, as Reitberg goes into P11 momentarily, but outbrakes himself, and McKenna gets back P11.
But yes,
we mentioned David Junt crossing the line into P1, and congratulations to him on a very, very comfortable victory, as we turn our attention back to the battles on the field. Martin Reitberg, Noah McKenna's gone wide, and Martin Reitberg goes into P11, and in one of the last overtaking spots on the track, and Zakaria Osawaye will want to follow through, as a bit unsettled, as well as McKenna going into the gravel, and I don't think Osawaye will be able to get P12. He'll have to settle for P13, and Arnold Haffey in the back, we also saw him in the gravel, and I think he's been overtaken by Anthony Walker. Brandon Norrie's move up to P14, and we see Pierre Rome for some reason, and I think Martin Reitberg has sealed P11. He has, and Noah McKenna in P12, also via P13, followed by Tenorio Walker and Al Haffey. And that was a very, very good race, very good battles, some interesting incidents, and overall I think this was a very, very good race.
Very, very hectic race, yeah, I totally agree with you. We have 9 retirees. And how much did we have in race 1? Do you remember?
4.
So this is doubled the amount.
It has. Very unfortunate to see so many retirees this race compared to the last one, but in the end it is David Junt who prevails in P1, Seva Panasenko in P2, and Misha Smith getting a podium yet again in P3. Mark Shilagi in P4, Mark Anthony Rasenayaham in P5, Nathan Cow in P6, Jerome Berg P7, Adrian Senior P8, Pierre Jerome P9, and Krivik Manikandan rounding out the top 10. Martin Reitberg in P11 beating Nova McKenna on the final lap with a very good move. Zakaria Osawaye in P13, Brando Tenorio P14, and Anthony Walker in P15, rounding out what would be in the career ladder the last points bank position, meaning Amral Haff in P16, the last finisher, and also the only, hypothetically speaking, non-points finisher. Dan Fine and Haruki Jr. in P17 and 18 are first on positional DNFs after their incident. Kenneth Reuting in P19 also DNF, Luca Gibok DNF in P20, followed by Alfred Enley DNFing in P21, Anderson Bayano P22, Giovanni Santoro 23rd, Janar Koit P24, and Jirik Stockel P25.
Well, as I said in the race beginning, it will be a really interesting race, let's say so. As we've seen in the Academy Series, always the race twos have shown us much more action as the top fielders come from midfield. So yeah, it won't be a really easy return to top step there. So yeah, I would say race 2 is definitely more exciting than race 1 was.
I'd say race 2s are usually more entertaining, more chaotic, more risky, gamble-like than race 1s are, because it's the second race and everyone has the mentality of it's shorter, push harder, because the races in Formula Sprint 1, for example, race 2s are shorter distance than race 1, and we see what happens there. We've seen last Thursday what happened in Formula Sprint 1 on the final lap, and I think that translates seemingly well across all series.
It seems so.
Right then, should we get on to the interviews?
Yes, we shall.
And I think I see a couple of people waiting for interviews, and the first one I would like to bring in would be Mark Shilagi.
Yeah, let's go for it.
As we have with us here Mark Shilagi for our first interview tonight. Mark, very welcome to GPVWC and to the interview room.
Yes, thank you. I've had a very fun 2 races today.
That's very nice to hear, and you had some good results as well. Obviously, your debut in GPWC as a whole, and you finished P3 and P4. How do you feel your races went? Because with this, you have some very entertaining battles with the likes of Alfred Enley and David Junt, etc.
Yes, going into race 1, I didn't really know what to expect. Of course, I haven't gotten to know any of these guys and how they battle on track. I noticed Alfie was quite a bit more aggressive than the other guys, but yes, I think everyone kept it safe and sound, and we had some great battles. In race 2, it was a bit more chaos, but it's still fun to battle through the field. So I've had very positive interactions so far.
And with all the chaos happening in race 2 as well, you managed to gain quite a lot of positions compared to where you started due to reverse grid, going up from P12, if I remember correctly, up into P4. So you battled your way through the field with everyone else around you falling from their battles. So you're definitely proving your pace today. Do you think in 2 weeks' time in Manicourt you can up it a bit more and go that further step and win the race?
Well, I will try anyway. I need to learn that track a bit more before I can have any winning aspirations, I think. But with how this race went, I am definitely motivated to try.
And seeing as you are a debutant here today, I think you are the first Hungarian in a while. You're definitely the first Hungarian this season to compete in the Academy Series 2. So to get a podium on your debut, I think that also could mean quite a lot, wouldn't you say?
I guess so, yeah. It's an honor for sure.
Do you have any questions, Kert?
Not much, but Mark, I was quite impressed by your pace tonight, and I really hope to see you in 2 weeks again.
Yep, thank you guys.
Thank you for joining us, Mark.
Thank you very much as well.
Okay, so let's see who else we have, and from who I can see, I would like to bring in Mr. Nathan Cow. Hello, Nathan. Welcome to the interview room, and welcome to GPWC as well. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us on track today and here in the commentary booth. Your debut in GPWC, how would you say it went?
Pretty chaotic, I can't lie. I mean, I was fast, but on the starts, I just don't do well. Do I have good starts? And then definitely in race 2, it's just a bunch of chaos.
Yeah, but you capitalized quite well from all of that chaos, gaining P6 in the end in race 2. I do not quite remember where you finished in race 1, but definitely having such a good position in your first round here is definitely a big boost for you. Would you say so?
Yeah, but also from some of my friends, they were kind of disappointed because I had a 34.5 in practice and they were expecting like a win or something, or a pole position at least. So, I mean, it's slightly disappointing for them, but for me, I'm happy with it.
You say so, but in the end you did beat some of your friends. I do recall you seeing ahead of Alfie Denley in the end of race 2.
Yeah, I did finish ahead of him, and I think I only finished behind Mark in P5 and race 2. I think that's the only one.
Yeah, but there was a close battle as well in race 2 in the end of the race between you and Mark.
Yeah, I wish it was a lot closer, especially with I had a lot of damage after a few collisions, especially with Dan Thin near the end. But it's fine.
So then, you said your friends expected you to win today, but in the end you weren't quite there. Do you think in 2 weeks' time at Magny-Cours you will be able to fulfill their expectations?
Probably not. I mean, I'll be going for a podium at the very least, but it's going to take some time to get used to the cars and the track again.
Any questions on your side, Kert?
Not really, but yeah, very interesting, very strong pace from you, Nathan. And yeah, hope to see you maybe on the top step in 2 weeks.
That's what I hope as well.
Thank you for joining us on track and here in the commentary booth for the interview today, Nathan. And we do hope to see you at Magny-Cours in 2 weeks' time.
All right, thank you. See you.
Goodbye. And I can see Mr. Major Smith waiting for an interview, so I say we get our race 1 winner here with us.
Sure.
Oh. Guess not. Let's try again. Hello, Micha, can you hear us?
Hello.
So then, race 1 victory.
Yes.
And double podium, in fact, with getting P3 in race 2. How does that feel?
Insane. Didn't expect that from before this race started. Not even pole, because my best lap was like 3/10 slower. So that lap came out of nowhere. Absolutely nailed it on every corner. So that was already insane to get that pole. And then after that, I was just trying to manage those very quick guys behind as well in the first couple of laps. And then they started fighting, and then I could get away. And then that first race was kind of just, trying to keep the pace up, not make any mistakes, and just finish it as good as possible.
And in race 2 as well, you started P14 because of the reverse grid.
Yes.
But in the end, you got P3, so you battled your way through the field very well. How were the battles you had?
Yeah, they were fun battles, but like in turn 1 there was a huge crash. I don't know how you guys saw that. I have to watch that back, but and then I got taken out twice. Not really taken out twice. One is kind of half my mistake. I was braking a little bit early, and then I got tapped in the rear, which sent me off. And then the first one was someone who forgot their braking on the inside and just tapped me around. But yeah, it happens. I'm not too bothered by it. I'm still happy with that P3. As that was my target as well at that race.
Well then, I do recall you talking with some of the drivers early on in the week in the server who were saying they expect you to do well this race, and you were downplaying yourself, but would you say now that you've proven to yourself what others think of you, if you can repeat that in 2 weeks' time at Magny-Cours?
I mean, I hope so. I'm very happy with today. Like a week ago, I didn't expect this at all. I practice a little bit more than I usually do on academy. Like some races I've done like, oh shit, can I curse, by the way? I don't know if I can curse.
We are not sure.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, and then I was like 2 minutes before the race, I forgot that we had one, and then it was like, okay, let me drive, and then that's just without practice. But this week I actually practiced for this race, and it paid off, so I'm very proud.
Well then, do you have any questions, Kert?
No questions.
Oh yeah.
Okay then.
Well, thank you for the host again and the stream.
Thank you for joining us on track and here for the interviews, Misha. And we do hope to see you in 2 weeks' time at Manico, and who knows, maybe again on the top step.
Let's see.
Let's see indeed. Thank you for joining us, Misha.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think we might still have some time for maybe
One
an interview
more?
or two. I do see Jiří Kratochvil and Krifik Manikandan in the interview room, although only Jiří Kratochvil seems to be speaking, so let's bring in Jiří Kratochvil. Hello, Jiří, welcome to the broadcast room for the interviews.
Hello.
Talk us a bit through your races, because race 2 we did see you unfortunately end a bit early, but race 1, from what I recall, was a bit better.
Yeah, like I had great start, then great fight with Haruki Jr. Then a little mistake, but still great finish in P9 because it was the guys kept spinning basically all the time, like or going wide basically. And in race 2, it like I had no space in turn 1 at all. Like I was like a little bit like maybe like axle on axle or into turn 1, but
It looked like, from our point of view, we didn't manage to spend much time on it due to all the battles that were happening in race 2. But from what I recall, it was very, very close. I think that's something that I shouldn't be looking at, but the disciplinary committee is definitely there to have an eye on it. Unfortunately, race 2, as we just said, did not go well for you. But do you think you can take those bad fortunes in 2 weeks' time in Manico and turn them back around and get some better positions?
well, I hope it will happen. By the way, the collision afterwards, it seems like I was like it was on purpose, but it wasn't. It was the guy in front of me. I don't know what was his name, but he just slowed down rapidly. Like I didn't expect that at all.
So it wasn't intentional to hit Janar Koit, it was just an unexpected slowdown by him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did look like the way you said on stream that was intentional, but it's good to have some clearance, and it's good to know that there was no malicious intent there.
And like I hope in 2 weeks I'll do way better. But as I know, Magny course isn't one of my strongest tracks. Actually, one of my worst tracks. Actually, I rarely
see.
do well here in Magny course.
Do you have any questions, Kert?
No questions, but Jiří, hope to see you in Magnico in 2 weeks' time, and maybe on the top step already.
Yeah.
Thank you for
So-
joining us here in the races, Jiří, and thank you for joining us here for the interviews.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and see ya.
Goodbye. And I see Krifik Manikandan back, so let's try and make an interview with him.
We can try.
Hello, Krifik, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Welcome back to GPWC. for the third time this season, not competing in race 1, but competed in race 2, and you did get into the top 10, if I remember correctly, in race 2.
Yeah.
Very, very good race from you in that case. Can you talk us a bit through it?
Yeah, so like it was a good race in general. Yeah, I went from like last to be honest, there was like a lot of like incidents which helped me. Also a lot of questionable racing. So yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how my race went, to be honest.
At the same time, you did go from last place P25 up into P10, so 15 positions gained by the end of the race. There were many incidents ahead of you, but still you did well enough to battle through the field and get into P10.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm pretty happy with myself for like virtually no practice, but yeah, like I got like 10 minutes of practice before while you guys were doing race 1, and I mean I think I only did one problem. It was me taking out Martin. I think I might have killed him, but yeah, that was my fault.
It didn't look like there was any contact. If this is the overtake I think you're mentioning, it doesn't look like there was any contact. It looked like a fairly clean overtake. But either way, yeah, it was good to see you back in the Academy series. I didn't mention you. This is the third time this season you've driven here. Third time again that you've not done race 1 but have done race 2. Can we expect you to do both races sometime soon? Potentially in 2 weeks' time at Manico?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was like exams that were like clogging me up with everything, and I was just kind of stressed about everything. So I just totally forgot about GPVWC. But now it's exams over, summer break. I'll be definitely attending more races now.
So we can expect you in 2 weeks' time at Manico?
Yeah, definitely.
That's amazing to hear. Any questions from you, Kert?
No questions, but Griffith, hope to see you in 2 weeks, and maybe you'll get him quicker than Mano was.
Alright, thank you then.
Thank you for joining us, Griffith, in both the race and in the interviews.
Thank you. Alright.
And do you think we call it there? Because I do see Jerome Berg. We can steal him from the VC or that beyond.
I think they are in the middle of something, so.
Yeah, that's fair. So I think we can call it quit. We can call end to the interviews there then.
Yeah.
And I think we can call it end to the broadcast of broadcast. The broadcast.
Yeah, let's call it the broadcast now.
The crust.
Yeah.
Either way, we had 2 very good races on our hands today. Very dominant displays by both race winners, with some very, very good battles behind them for podium paying positions, top 10, top 5, up, down, everywhere, contact, good racing, spins, blown engines. We had everything today, really. And I think this was an absolute joy to both watch and, depending on who you were, drive. But yeah, I'd say overall this was a very, very good round for Academy.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, we saw a lot of overtakes and a lot of action, as is really, well, common thing for Academy series. And yeah, I think Magni will be something similar or even more chaotic.
Absolutely, and unfortunately I will most likely not be present at Manico as much as I've mentioned it. If all goes well, I will instead be at the London Prix, so you will be hearing again from Domenico Scarpelli and Kert, of course.
So yeah, 2 weeks time we'll be in France, again in Europe, as always. Not always.
Well, not always, but we have to round out the European portion of the calendar, which was announced fully following the last round at Donington, following Hockenheim today, in 2 weeks' time, Manicourt. Following Manicourt, we will be paying a visit to the Hungaroring, and then following the Hungaroring, we will be going to Misano.
So plenty more exciting races to come. So I have been Kert Rohtjarv, side commentator, and joined by Lorenzo Eterovic-Funcic as the main commentary. And we hope to hear from you all again in Magni. Well, you will be hearing from me, but yeah.
Not from me.
Yeah, exactly. But for now, good evening, everyone.